All right, welcome back to the Roast Yourself podcast, brought to you by Current Crop Roasting Shop and Coffee Bean Corral. My name is Stephen Burnett, Coffee Bean Corral in Jackson, Mississippi, and with me in person is Catherine Mansell, Certified Q Grader and Director of Current Crop Roasting Shop in New Orleans, Louisiana. Catherine, how are you today?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I love being here.
Yes, it's always nice when we can do this in person.
Yes.
There's no lag.
Right?
If there is, we just said something weird. It wasn't that there's internet problems. So.
Right.
What did you say? Okay. Well, we're excited. This is our 51st episode, so we're just plugging away now. I think, they're going to... When do we get syndicated? Do we get syndicated at some point around now?
Oh.
If you want to syndicate a 10-minute Roast Yourself podcast, you can do that. Call us, give us money. You can do whatever you want with the podcast. That's the deal. But each week, why would you want to do that? Each week we set aside about 10 minutes to talk about coffee roasting, tasting, and enjoying, answering questions from people, both like home roasters, which is kind of our bread and butter, all the way to professional roasters, everybody in between. And so we're going to do that today. We actually have a question from a listener. But by the way, that listener got the question to us by emailing it to questions@riypod.com. That's questions@riypod.com. You can send your question in there too, and we will get to answer it just like this, give you a nice shout out, and you'll become famous like this person.
You can also submit your questions to our Instagram page.
You can.
Either the Roast It Yourself podcast, Current Crop, or Coffee Bean Corral's Instagram page.
We'll get it. They'll tell us, hey, this has happened. Someone has asked a question, and we'll get that there as well. We did an episode where we did some YouTube questions, I think. So yeah. We'll get those questions too. But yeah, please send us questions any way you'd like to. Make them up or genuinely have them. We don't care. They're great. So this question is from Mark. It's really not even a question, but it was an email where he shared a couple of things, and we got excited about it because I'm in my iced coffee era right now. I think I could safely say. Catherine, we were talking about these beverages you can make with coffee, being a little more creative, and so here is the email from Mark. He says, "Great show, guys. Really love listening to it." By the way, that's a great way to get us to read the rest of your email. To start out laying it on thick with the compliments. To comment on the new recipes in your latest episode, you gave one with orange juice, caramel, and espresso. Mm-hmm. I still stand by that. It's quite good, and I make it regularly. Yeah. I found one in Illinois with Coca-Cola and espresso called Cola Presso, and it's absolutely delicious. I love the name. Yeah. Cola Presso. I liked it so much that after I left town, I called the place and asked them what the recipe was. She said it's one basic shot of espresso, double shot, about 36 grams, ice, and then pour it on Coke until it reached the top of the glass. It was in like a highball glass, but she couldn't tell me how much the ratio was. Just be careful how you pour the Coke on top of the espresso because it makes it fizz up and overflow. Like a Coke float, you know? You put Coke in the ice cream, it just explodes on you way more than you think. I would probably be drinking them nonstop in the afternoon if my wife did not outlaw Coca-Cola in our house. Fair enough. Have a great day, Mark. Mark, thanks so much for your comment. This is a great... I love making new beverages with espresso, with coffee in general. Yeah. We've got a couple of things you can try out, a couple of which do not have Coca-Cola. So they would be legal in your home. You could enjoy them. Yes. But we're going to get into that. Mm-hmm. So, in fact, actually, your recipe that you brought to the table would work. Like Mark's wife would probably love this and approve. So what's that recipe?
So it's ice, an espresso shot, and then lemonade. Or you could do ice, cold brew, and a lemonade. So this comes from Ezra and Glennon, who are friends of Current Crop, helped us open Current Crop. And they were working in a cafe in Miami when they were in college. So and they called it the Thunderbolt. And they said that people would come. I think they did it one day just to sort of see how it was going to be, and people really responded to it. So cold brew, lemonade, ice, espresso shot, lemonade and ice. Yeah. I'm down to try it.
One thing you're going to notice in these that we put together is the citrus element is going to be pretty key. I only have one that's not. It's very simple. But the other ones that I had from a coffee shop in Shreveport, Louisiana, my hometown, and they did a great job. And they had a couple of beverages. There was one of them, they didn't have a cool name like that. Was it Espresso Cola Espresso? We didn't have that cool name. But the drink was, ice, espresso shot, Coca-Cola, all right, and lime juice. So a little bit of lime juice.
Okay.
Little citrus edge
Yeah.
to it, makes it very refreshing. Not approved in Mark's house, but otherwise, leave the house. Go
Yeah.
outside and you can have it. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Another one on that same vein is iced espresso shot, vanilla Dr. Pepper. You could do a little vanilla with regular Dr. Pepper, I would
Yeah.
imagine,
Yeah.
and then orange juice. So not much of that orange juice, but
Yeah.
again, that citrus element that just makes it nice.
Yeah.
Now, here's one that I've been enjoying a lot recently. It's ridiculously simple, and it's just an espresso tonic. It's kind of a classic iced espresso drink. A lot of places, I've been to a lot of coffee shops that just don't have tonic water,
Yeah.
and so they can't do it. But to me, it's like the easiest beverage you can do
Yeah.
with espresso because it's literally, and it's the same thing. You want to put the tonic water in first. Because if you put the espresso in first, you pour tonic on top of that, it will do that big, cloud
Yeah.
blow up thing. But yeah, just literally espresso, like ice, tonic water, and then espresso shot on top. Start to incorporate, and that is another. I enjoyed 2 of those in Chicago actually. 2.
Wow.
That's in as many days.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's another good one. But we also wanted to talk about like whenever we do something, and I'm specifically not going to title this episode anything to do with cold brew,
Yeah.
because people don't like. I don't know if they don't know how to get into cold brew, if they don't like it, if they don't, if it's just confusing to them. But there's not really a better way of making it's really concentrated. You can make it once, it lasts for a couple weeks, and you can it's ready to go. It's
Yeah.
good specialty coffee,
Yeah.
ready to go. And so we want to talk about cold brew for a little bit. So we snuck this in to this iced coffee
Yeah.
conversation because I want people making cold brew. It's
Yeah.
awesome. So Catherine, you guys do a ton of cold brew.
Yeah.
And so how do y'all typically go about it? And I want to talk especially about, you can talk about how you do it, but especially how to get into cold brew if you have none of the equipment. Like you don't have to have the toddy or
Yeah.
the Filtron or anything. So how would somebody get into making cold brew, and how do y'all do it?
So at Current Crop, obviously we use the toddy and the Filtron, but really all you need is a container that can hold either 12 or 16 ounces of coffee that's ground as coarse as like peppercorns,
Yeah.
very coarse and flaky. You put your ground coffee in the container, pour the amount of water that you need. So if you had maybe 12 ounces of your coffee, you could do just over 1.5 liters of water. Pour it on there and let it soak for a good 16, 18 hours, and then drain it. And then you have a concentrate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the toddy and the Filtron are great and easy. They give you the measurements. It's all laid out for you. But just being able to soak it,
Yeah.
very coarse grind, drain it. Then you have to dilute your concentrated. It depends on how concentrated you want it.
Right.
At Current Crop, we do 1 part coffee to 2 parts water. Lots of ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's really great. I'm sure I've said this before. New Orleans is hot in the summer. It's extreme. And cold brew is really easy because you don't want to give up on coffee. And sometimes people just don't want hot coffee when it's 110 degrees outside. So going through and picking your coffees for cold brew can be pretty easy. Depends on what you like. Josh, the manager at Current Crop, really loves light roast cold brews because they're really crisp, very bright, a little bit more on the thinner side, but end up being really fruity. So he'll do Ethiopia Dorado Bombay as a light roast for cold brew. He's even done Monsoon Malabar as a light roast.
Now that surprises me. That's not intuitive.
It was really good. I second guessed it. I was not, on the let's do Malabar for a cold brew train, but it ended up being really awesome.
You don't want to crush his spirit.
Right.
He's a nice kid,
Right.
And you're like, we'll try it.
It was
and
so
it was
good.
Okay.
It was so good.
But that's so many of these beverages that we're talking about are like orange juice and coffee.
Yeah.
Ew, no. But like the counter, it's like you got to push past that initial reaction and give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best one that I've had out of the coffees that both of us sell that has that nice orange, that nice citrus in it, is the Mexico Oaxaca.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for some citrusy stuff, you could do that for cold brew. But what I normally do is I take the roast just to the very beginning of second crack, maybe 5 seconds in, and then cool it down. And that ends up being a really full-bodied, no acidity, thick, chocolatey cold brew most of the time. That's my favorite. That's my go-to. But just having that container, grinding it correctly, adding a good amount of water, letting it sit for, a good 18 hours, drain it, you've got cold brew.
That's really key. And it's not, it's cold brew compared to like hot brewing with like 210 degree water. It's not like you got to put it in the fridge. You can have it at room temperature. That's fine. I remember when I first got into specialty coffee and had no money to put into like buying equipment. I couldn't afford to buy a gooseneck kettle, any of that stuff. That's $30, $40 for the pour over, $50, $60 for the kettle, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I did have like a fine mesh strainer already, and I had a big stock pot. So all I had to do then is buy good coffee.
Yeah.
And I did, and made pour over, and it just kept it in one of these big, like lemonade pitchers, in the fridge, and you can heat it up. That's what's great about it. You can get if it's 1 part coffee, 2 parts water or milk, you can heat the water. You can boil the water that you're mixing, and then you've got a nice like beverage right there, already hot without having to microwave it. So you can go both ways. You can go hot, you can go ice, but given that we're talking iced coffee, I feel like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But that's an easy way of doing cold brew. There's 1,000 recipes online. And the cool thing too is that you can adjust your ratio of how much cold brew concentrate to water you're using. You can literally make it as stout a cup as you want. You can just drink the concentrate.
Yeah.
You can do it. It might be a little intense, but if you're just one of those people, it's like every coffee you've ever had has been too weak for you. Concentrate,
Yeah.
If you get it concentrated enough, it makes a nice espresso substitute. For like mixed drinks or things like that where you want to have an espresso element, maybe you don't have an espresso machine.
Yeah.
You can make a really concentrated cold brew and fill that gap as well. So coffee can be so many things.
So many.
And that's one thing we love about it. So if you want to keep cool, keep caffeinated, I hope we've provided some help here. There's a ton of recipes. Just go online and Google. But those are some that we've had that we've really enjoyed. And that are nice to like impress friends with. I love like telling people what's in it first, so they go, and you go, just try it, just try it. Then you get to be the genius that blows their mind on coffee, and no ego at all, of course, but you get to be that. So, that is fantastic. Well, Mark, thank you so much for bringing this up. This has been good discussion, not unexpected, but. I really like that, and hopefully we've given you some ideas for some non-Coca-Cola beverages that you can have even in your own home. Yeah. That would be great. And look, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching the podcast and on YouTube, on the different podcast apps. We ask you, please share and like that stuff. Like it and then share it, like officially. Don't just like it in your heart. Like hit the button with a little thumbs up thingy to actually like it in real life on the internet, because that tells all of the algorithms that you like it and that other people might also like it too. And that helps us to grow and get out there. We've seen people that have never had any dealings with Coffee Bean Corral, Current Crop, the Rancher program, none of that. And they found us through the podcast.
Yeah.
And they started, I can roast coffee at home. They've already experienced that kind of like question. Never thought they could do it. And they just stumbled upon our videos. And so by liking and sharing and talking to people about this, talk with your phone nearby so Siri can overhear your conversation and then spy on you. Let them do that for good, for something good. But we're excited to watch the Roast Yourself podcast grow and continue to spread around. So we can't do that without you. We also can't do that without our coworkers that give us the time and space to sit here and have these conversations. And our coworker pups, who have for the most part been quiet this whole episode, and now they're like, all right, we got to cap it. We said 10 minutes, and now we're 13 minutes. But for especially those that edit and cut and make us sound look good, you guys, thank you so much for what you do, giving us this opportunity, of course. And continue sharing and liking. You guys, thank you. Send your questions, all of them, to questions@riypod.com, or hit us up on Instagram. Hit us up, which you're gonna have in the show notes. Hit us up on YouTube, in our comments, ask questions there. We'd love to hear from you. However you want to communicate. Otherwise, have a wonderful day and happy roasting.
Thanks, Mark.